Hello, beautiful souls. This is Diane Lang from Wisdom of the Akashics. Thank you very much for your visit to the YouTube channel. I actually just want to send out a thanks to everyone for every level of participation that you had in the Twin Flame Journey, the video series, the readings, the clearings, any part of it, because every time someone brings their heart to the table and becomes part of a collective and does so when they're looking for the highest good, it really does change the energetic vibration. And if it changes the energetic vibration for one of us, it changes the energetic vibration for all of us. So I really want to thank you for that. Thank you for those of you that I did actually do, specific work this year. Thank you for letting me be part of your journey. It's been an amazing journey for me. I know if I haven't been doing very many videos, it's in part for a few different reasons. One, I actually had a computer crash, and also just setting up things in my business to look the way that I want them to. And my Akashic Record work is actually my passion and where I'm spending most of my focus in developing my programs. And so the Twin Flame Journey came along because of my own personal experience on the earth with someone that you just have that energetic love with and connection with. And as a result, it's unfolded all of these things that I just literally just didn't even see coming. And so it's been quite a journey. It's been, I like to say, we're at the theme park and then the roller coaster's either going like this, or it's kind of going like this. And, I have found for the most part in my life, I'm just getting into ebb and flow versus peaks and valleys. And that's from a lot of spiritual work. It's from getting help in my journey. It's from the reward I get from helping people in their journey. I looked back at some of my videos the other day from when I started, and I've actually taken most of the videos down right now because I'm going to decide about how the channel is going to go forward. And they've already been watched, and I think for the most part, I don't know that many people come across and go watch older ones. But I saw myself and I thought, wow, like I've really come along just in terms of my energy for the videos, how I feel, how I look. My life is expanding. My heart is expanding. Every day is a new day. Some days are better than others. I don't live in a world where everything is just going to be wonderful and perfect, because it is challenging. Some of the stuff that's happened at the level of the heart has been challenging, but it's brought to the forefront different levels of relationships whereby, and I've talked about this, is when you start to clean up one area of your life and you look at it and you make little improvements, just little day by day conscious choices as to how you're maybe going to handle something, it will play out in other parts of your life. And I've really seen it come through in other relationships in my life. Friendships, some are falling away, some are really coming to a more connected level. I'm becoming more aligned with the type of people I really want around me, because my spiritual journey is so important. And so the Twin Flame Journey for all of us, I think, has, I have always said that you guys, if you're even stepping up to this journey at all and opening yourself to the consideration of it, there's a spiritual warriorship in that, because it is not the easiest experience to be going through, and particularly when you have those that are not stepping into union. I do want to tell you, though, that I still get updates. I'm just received 2 this last week of people saying, thank you, Diane, since we did the work in August, going forward, whatever the clearing work was done, this has shifted. My twin is opening up. I've really found my grounding in the relationship. We're speaking. All sorts of really cool stuff. And so, I really take that to heart for all of us. And the reason that we did the big gateway in August was because when you create a gateway and you have a collective of people doing it, instead of me being in here and just doing some work in the gateway opening like this, you have that many people step forward and the gateway opens like this, and it allows a lot more of us to pass through it with that open heart, with the dedication that it it is for all. You know, I believe that we are all connected, so at some level we all get the energy, any clearings in the story and stuff like this, but they come to us at a lot deeper level if we're doing it from a conscious place and participating in it. In actuality, I'm going to send something. I'm going to put it at the page below. I got to remember to do this. There's a beautiful lady on the earth that does an amazing amount of spiritual light work. Her name is Patricia Cota Robles. She has a website called eraofpeace.org, but she did a talk about the gateway that was opening yesterday. There's the Solstice, the 21st, and then how it's opening up going forward. The first 11 days in January are really, really important. This is about anybody that wants to assist humanity in coming to the light and assisting them, not just twin flames, just your soul, your family's soul, those of the people that you're lovingly and connected to, and all of those that we aren't connected to, but we know that we have that energetic connection to. And she's really asked people that anybody that wants to be, is a light worker, wants to participate in doing light work, that they step up and listen to this. It's an audio. She set a replay for it. I'll put it in the box below. I'm pretty sure that you can access the replay, and then to really set the intention for what that's going to open up. And 2017 is a 1 year, so 217 adds up to 1010 is 1. So on the first, you have the first month, the first day, and then the number 1 year, which is an 111, and then on 1111 we have first month, first 11th day in a 1 year. So we have 1111, and then twice that day we're going to get 2 1111s on the clock. Those are powerful days to be conscious of what it is you're putting in the universe, what it is you want to get back from the universe, what you have to give to the universe. And so I actually put that in my calendar on my phone so I get reminders of this, because I just simply can't recognize necessarily that, you know, this particular story I may be able to hold in my consciousness, but sometimes we just don't. We don't remember the date until it's gone. But she really explains why it's important. And one thing I want to talk to everybody about is a lot of people think that you're only a light worker if you are doing something in the healing arts. So you're a practitioner, you're a Reiki practitioner, you're a reader, you do energy work, you do body talk, you do something. And it's absolutely not true. We can't just have all light workers on the earth, because we still need people to help us in other areas, and we need nurses and doctors and teachers and lawyers and plumbers and workers and grocery store workers and all of that stuff. So some people think because they're not using them necessarily in the healing arts that they're not part of the energy workers or the light workers on the earth, and it's completely false. If you work on bringing forth light in your heart, if you bring that to the universe, if you bring that to your intentions, if you bring that to your relationships, if you're making a conscious choice to rise above the old paradigms, the old belief systems, the doubt, the lack, the fear, all of those programs, and you are looking for your situation and those of those around you, and you want the whole world to feel at peace and be at peace, that's light work. You don't have to be a practitioner to be included in that. And I want to make sure you guys realize that, because a lot of people are feeling like, well, I'm not really doing anything. And it's like every day that you open your heart and you work on the ability to receive anything at a level of higher love, or you work on forgiveness and communication and things that create better relationships, you're part of a community that's affecting the light on the earth. This is a specific request for everyone that has light worker in their heart. So that's why I'm sharing it with you. It's not for just practitioners. So I got a little bit of information that I've been getting on the from the universe about going forward in the twin flame journey. And I'm smiling because I look down on my little plate here on my table, and I spilt a little coffee, and it's actually formed the shape of a heart. Like, how cool. Just talking about the heart. So when people ask, like, how do you find your synchronicities? I'm telling you, when you pay attention, they show up all over the place. I'm actually not sure what I'm going to do in the twin flame journey going forward. I actually started to develop a program, and for the most part, I've developed a program called Twin Flame Boot Camp, and I was going to do it in a live webinar series, and I'm just being so pushed towards the Akashic Records that I thought, I've actually stepped back from it. It's there. I may turn it into a online audio program, where it's just purchased as an audio program, because there's some really great information. There's some great tools as to how to work with twin flame energy and how to be in relationship when you're not in union. And there's some really big stuff that's actually, a lot of it's taking us out of our heart because we're in so much pain. So many people are in pain around the relationship. And that's actually one of the things the universe wants us to do. They want to really let us surrender is the word that keeps coming up over and over. Surrender the story, surrender the trust, surrender the pain, surrender the belief that, if you know in your heart that you have an energy with the twin flame energy with somebody, and the twin flame energy is energy that's intimate. There's twin souls on the earth that are not intimate, but they're still part of the twin journey because they are an actual twin, but they're not looking, they don't desire and have the longing for the intimate side of the relationship. And so if that's happening for you and you're not in union and it's always painful, then that's something you really got to look at and understand, that if we don't bring ourselves up out of the pain, our attraction, our law of attraction will not bring the twin to us. And, one of the things that I like to teach is, the law of attraction in itself, those words, they've almost become meaningless to people. People don't understand, well, why would I be getting what I don't want? It's not that it's first of all, any repetitive pattern where I can't afford, I can't afford, I can't afford, I wish I could do, I never have any money, that's actually a repetitive thought pattern which builds a belief system of lack, and then the law of attraction for lack is lack. That's the law of attraction. It's really not a lot more complicated than that, but there's the law of energy. There's a law of vibrational match. Something that's happening to you in order for it to be happening, we have to be a vibrational match at some level for it. So if it's not happening, we just need to raise our vibration. We can't just do vibrational work and energy work and clearing work. I want to make sure people understand that. You can't just simply go and zen your way to change. This is a third dimensional world. The third dimensional world requires doing. We have to be doing something different. We have to be making a different choice. We have to be making a choice to allow ourselves to go out and experience fun and joy even when we're not with our twin. And then the energy of fun and joy will actually start to bring the attraction of fun and joy. That allows an open heart and love to come in. So I can get a lot more depth into that when I work directly one-on-one with people or in any of the programs that I do. But I just want you to understand, if something's not happening, just ask the question, okay, I'm not a vibrational match to it then, and what do I need to do to become a vibrational match to being in union, having money, having great health, having loving relationships, resolving issues that are in my relationships, because so much of it's coming forward either from a past life or present life, and a lot of it is stuff that it's been brought to us since we were kids. I remember, my dad was very macho, and we had a feedlot, and he didn't allow us girls, my sister and I, to go anywhere near it because he said men are, he kind of did the men are pigs things, no, I don't want you out there. I don't want you around those kind of guys. Well, it was farmers and ranchers and cowboys, and I was from a cattle family. It made sense for me to be around it. He was a little bit chauvinist too, but I also understood later in life that was part of it. So, but what he did was he set this pattern in my belief system that men are kind of pigs and they can't be trusted. And I always kept saying, I don't want to believe that, because I never feel good about that. I never feel optimistic about meeting a nice man if I buy that belief system. But I certainly started to understand as I gained my spirituality and my consciousness as to why I actually believed that. I believed it because I was told it. I was told it by an authority figure that was actually my father, who lived in my house every day. Boys only want one thing. That was a really repetitive pattern and a repetitive message that came through from both my parents. So you set yourselves up that, they're not good they don't want us for anything else, and all of those things, gosh, I could just get into that and go on. But so I just want you to understand that what the universe is asking and what they want from us is they want surrender. They want surrender of the heart to the universe, to know that if this relationship is meant to come to fruition, there's always going to be free will. And that's why I can get in conversations when people talk about meant to. Well, if it's meant to happen, it will happen. I actually don't buy that paradigm. I don't buy that belief system, because it can be meant to happen, but free will choice can prevent it from happening. So I can have another conversation about that. And I love those. And one of the reasons that I want to go and do more live stuff, and I'm going to start doing some Google Hangouts where whether it's the Akashic Records or Twin Flames, but where I can be asked questions on the spot and start to talk about this stuff, because, you know, it's one thing for me to do videos, but I'm not getting any feedback from you guys. I'm not getting your questions when they come up. So I say something that triggers a question. Well, in a live situation, you can ask me that question, or I can take all the questions that come in, and then I can do a video on it if I don't get to all of them and stuff like that. And so I just have to sit up here a little bit. But they're asking for, so the message that I'm getting about 2017 is to look at it as a year where you literally surrender faith and trust over to the universe. It looks like everything is an absolute mess on the earth. And frankly, the few people that are running that show, that little 1%, they actually want it to look like a mess, because as long as it looks like a mess, where it causes separation. As people are in separation, they're not looking to be in union. As long as races and ages and religions fight over everything, there's a body of people on the earth, a very small body of people on the earth, that have a lot of control over that. And so I refuse to buy into that story. I refuse to buy into the story that we're all meant to fight and not get along. And the fact that we're fighting over things like religion, to me, is the most asinine effing, situation in the world. We're fighting over God instead of all just living with God in our hearts and not deciding my God, it doesn't have to be better than your God or different. It's literally only ego that's causing that. God, the one knowing all, God loves everyone. So it doesn't matter where you come from or how you were raised or even what your behavior is. God doesn't judge you for that. Those are human experiences that we learn and grow by. And when we get into the Akashic Records, a lot of the Akashic Records are about understanding why you have a pattern that you've had and you've brought forward, or why you have a fear that you completely just don't understand and you can't figure out, and you don't know why you've always had it. Well, if you've had a very strong past life experience that has set that fear in motion and you carried it forward into this lifetime, until you actually overcome it and address it, be not afraid to look at it and all that type of things, it actually will continue to run the story. And if the story is fear-based, then the law of attraction will bring fear-based stories to you to continue to let it to perpetuate until we do something different. So one of the things that we talk about, and I was taught a lot about in my work, was spiritual bypasses. And a spiritual bypass is thinking that it's always about the other person, that when they change, then things are going to get better. Absolutely. Our world changes because we do something differently, not because somebody else does something differently. They may do something differently as a result of our change, meaning they either step away from us because we're coming into alignment with who we truly are at a soul level, or they'll come towards us because we're coming into true alignment with who we are at a soul level, and we're starting to own our stuff, and we're starting to be accountable, and we're starting to recognize that if I have a repetitive pattern, it's something that I'm doing, I'm vibrating with that pattern. That pattern cannot show up in my experience if I'm not vibrating with it. And if you guys want to know more about that, ask, and I can talk about that further. I really do want to express the story about the twin flame right now, because many of us are going through an experience right now where we're entering another holiday season. We're entering Christmas. We're still alone. We're not with them. If they're with someone else, we're watching them go into their family experiences, and they're going to do their family things, and they're with their kids and their families. And some of us are sitting back and we're not having that experience with them. And if it's been 1 year, 2 years, 5 years since you've never actually had a Christmas with them, there can be a lot of pain that's going on in the heart right now on the earth, period. Not even just with twin flames, because I first of all say Merry Christmas, and I'm not going to stop saying Merry Christmas because somebody else deems it politically incorrect. I don't let somebody decide that. It's not rude. It's how I was brought up. It's what I believe in. I believe in the birth of Christ. And so, but I believe what I'd love to see is that we don't just do certain things at Christmas time. We don't get kind because it's Christmas. We don't get kind because it's Thanksgiving. Somebody wrote on the Facebook this morning on one of it, says, it would be nice if we didn't all just get a certain way at Christmas time. And I said, yes, what I love is to see a lot more natural acts of kindness. We get excited about random acts of kindness, and we're so above that. Like if we actually believe that the world is going to change because of random acts of kindness, you're kind of cutting it a little bit short there in consciousness, because it's natural acts of kindness that will change the world. We just become naturally kind towards each other, less judgmental, more open-hearted. That's when we're going to see change that actually affects us on a much deeper level. I appreciate random acts of kindness. I just don't think they're going to change the world, okay? That's just me being very upfront and honest. So I always teach, let's just shoot for natural acts of kindness. And and if you do something kind and then you don't get recognized for it, and then you get mad that it didn't come back that way, one of the things you got to realize, that became conditional. You know what I mean? It's great to be thanked, but it's kind of conditional. You don't know what's going on in that person's world when you stood and you waited and left the door, helped them, opened a door for them so they could walk through, and they walked right past you like they didn't exist. And then we're kind of like, well, fuck you. That's the last time I'm ever open. You know what? Guess what? Who knows? Maybe that person was getting out of their car at that moment in time, like 30 seconds earlier, they got a message that their mom had actually just arrived at the emergency, boom. That's how much we don't know what's going on in other people's worlds. So I really shoot for not being judgmental about it either. So the biggest message that I'm getting, and with the Solstice Gateway open yesterday, and the stuff that's coming forward, and with Patricia Cota Robles' work that's going right through in 2017, but for the first 11 days of January, there's some really big stuff taking place in the universe, and how we have to step in. And when you work with the level of work that she's doing, everything is done to the energetic resonance of 1,000 times 1,000-fold. So what that means is, if you yourself step into some area of your life and you bring some sort of love, life, forgiveness, anything into your life, and you energetically bring it forward with 1,000 times 1,000-fold, that means energetically you've just affected 1 million people. And so when you do that, we create mass consciousness, we create resonance, and that's what opens a gateway. You can crack open a gateway with 1 or 2 people, but what actually opens a gateway is the energy of many. And so one of the things I want to impart to you guys today is think of yourself as always as part of a collective. Think of yourself as always part of the energy of the whole. So everything you do, and I do, and anyone does have an impact on the whole. It might not be a very big outwardly impact, but it has an impact. And we nearly need to step up and stop buying into that everyone out there can't be trusted. Because you know what? I don't even want to stay on the earth if that's the truth. I don't want to stay on a place that nobody can be trusted. And I believe in the Akashic Records, which means I believe in past lives. I teach them. I coach through them. I read them. You mean it would be completely absurd of me to do that and not actually believe in them. So I think it's absurd to think that we get one kick at the incarnation cat, as I like to call it. We don't get one kick. We get to come back. We get to experience ourselves over and over again and learn and grow and expand through the experience of being on earth. And we learn in humanity by duality. So we define duality as right, wrong, good, bad, and all of those things in the Akashic Records. And that good is just moving towards your divinity, and bad is just that you've moved away from your divinity. A positive choice is one that moves you to divinity. A negative choice is one that's moved you away from divinity, your divinity. It's not negative in that you did something wrong. It's just the choice took you away from your divinity. So you chose money over something, for example. You chose to be greedy. You chose to steal a bunch of, pens and paper and a bunch of stuff from work, thinking, yeah, well, they got lots of it and they can afford it and they only pay me this much money because we can justify all sorts of our behavior. And then next thing you know, your purse gets stolen. That's a law of karmic. That's a karmic circle that's actually happening there, because the initial decision moved you away from your divinity by choosing to take something that wasn't yours. We can justify it by thinking it wasn't very important. They have a stack of paper that high in the copy room and I just need a little bit and I don't really want to stop at home. It is stunning. There's actually a fabulous documentary on Netflix. What's it called? I'm not quite sure, but it's something about the truth and about it's studies they did with people about how honest we are, and then how honest we are when we think we could get caught versus not getting caught. How will we justify it? And it's human nature to actually have some level of lie in us. How are you feeling today? Not, I'm feeling great, and actually you feel like shit. Energetically, that's incorrect information. So it is a little bit there. Or, how are you feeling about a particular situation, and you're really angry about it, and then you go and get all fluffy about it because you don't want to cause any conflict. Those are situations, those decisions, the choice of doing that takes us out of our divinity, because the consequence of that choice will be now we have somebody out there that's operating off false information that we're okay, and actually we're not okay at all. We're pissed right fucking off, for example. And excuse me, I have a bit of a potty mouth, and it's just something that comes out once in a while. So I'm looking at my cards. I'm trying to decide if I'm meant to do a bit of a reading. It's a double numbers, 55, 20. Wow, okay. I'm going to do a reading because there's double numbers on the clock right now. But I really want you to look at 2017, and you can go right on a big whiteboard. I have a whiteboard in my office over there that I write stuff on, and it's motivational to me. It reminds me of things, and write on there that 2017 is my year of surrender. I'm going to surrender my story to God and to the universe, and trust, and faith and trust that everything will come to me that I desire in my heart, and then let the universe go do some of the work. We're so attached to the story. And and I talk about how you can't zen your way to just solving everything, but you also can't get caught up in doing. The opposite side of that meaning is you never, ever let go. That means, that one text turns into 15 text messages because you haven't got a response yet, or they said something you didn't like, and the next thing you know, we're spewing out on somebody. It's like we never stop looking for them. We never stop going out. I have to watch for this myself because I live in a town where, there's just, I put up the other day on my Facebook page because of some stuff that happened on Sunday. I was just like, sometimes this town is just too small for me. And that's because I can go out and end up in front of somebody in an experience which might not make my heart feel very good. And I think, man, when I used to live in Calgary that had over 1 million people, this was a rare occurrence, whereas here it's almost like a normal occurrence. And so I'm going to check this one box here because I can see the focus going in and out, and I don't know why it's doing that. So we're at the 27-minute mark. I am going to do a quick reading. I'm going to ask the question around what is it that they want us. Last time I did my cards, I actually ended up making them half of them upside down. What does the universe want us to know what is it they want us to focus on in regards to surrendering? I mean, I know on a spirit level, you know, it's faith and trust, it's belief in ourselves, it's belief in our partners. And I can tell you something, that from the clearing work that I do, and I go in and I tap into the energy of yourself and your twin, and the twin that comes in energetically, that's just been invited in, meaning you hired me and they've been invited in, and I feel their presence and I can get information from them. Some of them are just like, there's no trust there. You know, there's so much trying to control the situation. There's no just letting it unfold. And some of them need to let it unfold. They need to feel trusted. And actually, this whole story came up today in another situation that has nothing to do with twin flames, but in a relationship standpoint. And I said, you know, when you have to watch when you're always trying to have control over something or a situation, or somebody can't go an hour without texting you and letting you know they're okay, and they're a grown man. I mean, come on. No wonder that they get tired, or we get tired. There's no trust in that. And you know what? I'm a believer that when you, how can I say it? When you don't trust someone, they get tired of trying to get you to trust them. They get tired of it. It's like, I put a lot of effort into that at one point. Don't trust me anyways. Really don't work too hard on that one anymore. You know, so we have to look at, you know, what are we doing? Are we always trying to, you know, control the situation? Do we ever just, you know, let go and let God, so to speak? I have this, you know, this saying that I put on, I actually have it in, and it says, let go, let God, and then what you do is you say, let go, let God, and then you say the name of your twin, so that you're saying, I'm letting go, I'm letting God, and I'm letting them let the story unfold. I'm letting them, I trust that they're working on their stuff. I trust that they're going to be, you know, moving towards this union by what they're doing. But if I'm the only one, then I think that it's all about them, and, you know, they're never doing this, and I don't hear from them, and etc., etc. Well, I'm telling you, from that law of vibration, if you're vibrating at the point of fear all the time, that they're never going to call back, that's why it's beautiful to actually, as much as it can be a big pill to swallow, it's really actually beautiful to look at trying to embrace the law of attraction. Because when you get that part, well, if that's what I'm vibrating at, well, then they're not going to call, they're not going to write. I mean, look at I'm sending out to the universe. You know, we have to start becoming accountable for the story that starts here, and goes out there, okay? So that's the question. And I might throw in a couple heart cards at the end. But I do want you to really look at embracing 2017 as the year of surrender. And, you know, I'm getting this message so clearly because, you know, when you are in the human journey, and even for those of us that are helping people, we still are human. You know, I don't ever want anyone to think because I'm good at helping people, or I'm good at explaining twin flame energy, or helping people understand things, that means I don't have any experiences whereby I know that I just created that to happen and then that. It's because I'm human. What it is, when you actually work in this arena, we can get extremely hard on ourselves because we have so much of us that goes, I should have known better. I should have known better. I should have known better. What'd I do that for? So we can't get caught up in the fact that we may have done something that we know, wow, that's going to lead me towards that result, and that's not the result I was hoping for. But my behavior, my thoughts, my belief systems are the ones that initiated that. My reaction to a story is what initiated that. And so it takes the energy off them, because one of the things I can tell you is there's a level of overload because we put so much on the other people and just aren't taking accountability for our own stories. Wow. 4 cards, and they're going to say this much. So let's go back to the question. What does the universe want us to know about surrendering? What is it they want us to understand? So what is it what's the outcome when we surrender? What happens when we surrender? What happens when we show faith and trust? What happens when we give it over to God? What happens when we start to look at our own behavior and not pay attention to anyone else's? What happens when we start cleaning up the weeds in our garden and then they're not blowing all over the neighbor's yard anymore and all that, because we're so good at looking outside and thinking it's about other people? So what is it? What does surrender bring to us? Things are looking up. The end of a difficult situation. The end of a difficult situation. Because for one, it never feels good to be sad and depressed all the time. And it's not attractive energy for anyone. I have been through a tremendous amount of depression in my life. And when people come to work with me, I can talk about that. I can help people understand, you know what? There's not much you can talk to me about where I don't understand some level of depression. Physical depression, emotional depression, sadness, pain. I've had back surgeries. I have different things, being single a lot of my life, losing a lot of people. I went to 14 funerals in 28 months once. I got to the point I didn't want to pick up my phone. I just didn't want to pick up my phone anymore because somebody I either loved or somebody very dear to somebody I loved I was going to be told they died and that something happened, and some of them were wild accidents, windsurfing accidents and pipe falling off of a truck and feeling like waking up thinking they had a flu and having an aneurysm and all, and young people. Like it was just, it got very difficult. But what it did and how I saw that later in life, because that was right at the end of the 90s and the early 2000s. It was right in, about 2-year period or so, I think that, overall that it went on. But what I learned was it actually helped me understand grief a lot. So then I got to be able to help people with grief. It helped me really embody my belief about the soul, and that we only leave physically in the earth and the soul is never gone. And that person is there to access and speak to at all times. It's just a matter of getting tuned in and tapped in and then reaching out to them. And when you practice that, it's actually amazing how much can show up. Things are looking up. The end of a difficult situation. So that's what happens. This is energy that can come forth from surrender. Then it follows up with the King of Earth. A successful time. Confidently accept opportunities. So a success. Things are looking up. The end of a difficult situation. These are 2 of the first cards that came out based on the question that we're asking. What happens if we give up and we allow ourselves to surrender? Next card, your wishes come true. Concerns fade away. A love life. I'm at the point I just want a love life anyways. This is a big thing for me. To try to stay in your heart in one way and then allow yourself to still go experience. Because I believe we learn and grow in love, and I believe we learn and grow in relationships. So I look at my life and how much I've spent single, and I'm like, well, that's a really interesting belief system for somebody who actually is single a lot. So then I start asking myself questions. Well, what is it? Why am I not in more relationships? Why have I had that experience? I found a vow of loneliness in my Akashic Records. When you have a vow of loneliness, guess what you do? You spend a lot of time alone. But the day I found the vow, I was so excited. I mean, I just explained so many things to me about my story. It just explained so many things to me. My level of acceptance and understanding, and just being going, oh my God, I understand what a vow in the Akashic Records means, and I understand the power that they have over us when we hold them. So when I found a vow of loneliness in my records, which is a form of a vow of poverty, because I've been impoverished in relationships. But it actually just, whoa, what an expansion that came after that. So, things are looking up. An end of a difficult situation. Your wishes are coming true. A love life. And then the king of air. Speak your mind with confidence. This is something that comes up a lot when I work one-on-one with people. Balance the mental and emotional considerations. If we look back at what I've just spent the last 35 minutes saying, it's about finding that balance. It's about knowing the balance between my behavior and my reactions. It's about the balance of being involved in the story, but also letting some of it go. It's about the balance of saying, understanding that in order for something to actually not be like this at the theme park, instead of being like this energy comes through balance. When we have ebb and flow in our life, it's balanced. When we have, I'm up, I'm down, they're here, they're there, we're fighting, we're getting along, blah, 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 blah. It's like, that's not the fucking theme park I like spending much time at. I know it quite well because I've been there, but I really recognize I don't feel good there. I don't feel good there. I don't want to go to that theme park at all. So I'm working on ebb and flow. That's ebb and flow is doing something, recognizing mistake, forgiving, and making a choice to do it better next time. If you want a process to practice, there's your process. You do something. You recognize you didn't like the consequence. You made a choice maybe that was against you and it took you away from your divinity. Don't like the choice, made the choice, don't like the consequences, forgive yourself for making it, and then make a better choice next time. And then you always practice making the better choice. That's the doing part. The energetic part is thinking that you can just meditate your way to change. Going only to healers, but never doing anything different yourself. Like I tell people, really, you get good at the fifth dimension, but the third dimension doesn't change simply by entering the fifth dimension. The flip card. The flip card is, for the way I read, the flip card to me is the overall. All of these things in consideration, whether you have 3 cards out, 6 cards, 12 cards, whatever. I do a flip card. Sometimes I don't get called to do it. I do a flip card. The flip card to me is, what is the overall energy of the story? What comes with surrender? The Knight of Water. Emotional, romantic, enthusiastic, contemplative are actually the top of the card. Falling in love. Wedding proposals. I truly expect a lot of twins to start to come into union going forward. I absolutely expect it. I think that it's going to happen based very highly on how we handle the situation ourselves, where we give over and we let them to go complete their agreements and such, and we trust. One thing I can tell you, and I've been caught, this came up earlier in my mind and I didn't say it, now it's coming through again, so I'm going to say it. One of the things I want you to know is there is a massive community out there that are going on pages like Facebook groups and pages and putting up pictures of themselves with somebody and asking a Facebook community, do you think this is my twin? If that's how you're trying to find out if somebody is your twin, I'm telling you, the journey, you're either not with a twin, that is not your twin. Because for one, there's a lot of things called twin hopping. I can talk to you about that. Probably not today, but if you have to go to a Facebook page and you're willing to let 25 people respond to you, and some of them are going to say, oh yeah, you guys, I can see your energy and you look so great together, and somebody else pops on and goes, yeah, not so much, I'm not really getting that, that's your twin, and you actually go, blah, 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 blah. Well, honestly to God, who did you ask the question to? Your twin is here. Your twin is the mirror reflection of you, both the beautiful parts and the shadow parts. You are a reflection of their beautiful parts and shadow parts. The reason we have love at first sight and we have this experience that is unlike any other experience we have ever had up to date in that moment in time. So that's what's very often when a lot of us see our twins for the first time. It is so different than any other experience. It's like that so you recognize that it's unlike any other experience, because we need to identify and recognize each other at that level. Because if they just came on and you just thought they were cute and you looked away from them, the heart doesn't get engaged when that happens. Twins engage each other's hearts in the nanosecond. It's like it's so coming towards you before it even you show up in front of each other. The universe has been working on this from day one. We've been working on it since incarnation. We agreed to it before we incarnate. We agreed to the things that we're going to work through with our twins before we incarnate. And then there's free will, and then there's people that go off and end up living in different cities, or somebody gets traumatized at a young age and then has issues with men for the rest of their lives. I mean, God, you guys, you know how many examples I could give about stuff like that? So just be cognizant of these things. Think of them. Sometimes it's good to watch. If you really like a video that you've watched, like if you got and feel that was a really cool video, watch that video again. I don't care if it's mine or anybody's. The reason being is you can only get so much of any information that you're giving at the same time you're thinking your way through at least half of it. Because when I'm talking and you're thinking at the same time, that means typically we didn't catch the next thing that was said to us. I have to watch for this one myself, and also it helps us become better listeners, where we actually just can sit back and look and listen to somebody, let them tell us their story without us thinking our way through what we're going to say to them as soon as they're finished. Because when we're doing that, we're not paying any attention to them at all, and it actually shows in our relationships and how we communicate with people and how connected we really are to people. So really, really, really pay attention to that. And if you like something, let your brain, because you'll hear the other parts of it the second time. The need to balance your emotions. Balance mental and emotional considerations was the fourth card out. The need to balance your emotions was the fifth card out. I discussed this in the beginning part of the video. That's being told something 3 times. I just gave you an explanation of why to listen to something twice, and then the universe gave it to us 3 times. If you get something 3 times, or you see something in a repetition of 3 times over a short period of time, like a day, a half a day, hours or whatever, you see something, you see something, you see something. That's telling you that's something you want to pay attention to. But the reasons that the twins wake us up when they walk into our vicinity or we see them for the first time, they're supposed to do that for us because that soul connection is that strong. But I assure you there's a lot of people on the earth that are jumping out into the arena wanting to have twins without understanding the spiritual commitment to actually step up to that relationship, and also going on social media and things like that and saying, are they my twin? And you're not going to your heart to get that question answered. It's like, well, you're just throwing it out into the universe, and you're going to just take what comes back from a bunch of people who are living their own experiences and fears and doubts and angers and frustrations and patience and no concept even maybe of what's going on in your truth, in your story. So be careful about that. And if you go through experiences, you go, is that my twin? Is that my twin? Is that my twin? You're twin hopping. You're not settling down in your heart and allowing yourself to really find out, because there's a lot of, what do they kind of call it right now? They're talking about it a lot. Where there's a community of people who just want to be part of something, but they really don't understand that, first of all, it isn't just an easy, beautiful journey to find your twin. They impact us at the deepest level because we are actually connected in our soul, through our souls. If you understand in the way that I've been taught by Spirit and what they've given to me to understand the twin relationship, what it is, they actually show me yin yang. They show me yin yang, which is perfect balance. The male, female, the masculine, the feminine, in perfect harmonic balance is the yin yang. That's what I get shown when I ask questions about twins and what the twin relationship, and then things that I'm meant to teach. And I have questions. Well, what does it mean to be a twin then? Right? And when you're a twin, that's why we feel each other at such a deep level, is because we are that literal yin yang symbol, so to speak. I can't do it with my hands. It's kind of interesting is I've done that with my hands now. You know how the yin yang has 2 dots in each side, 1 dot in each side? The masculine has a feminine. If you look at my rings, they're forming that right now. The yin yang is perfect harmonic balance. And that's actually what we feel with our twins. That's why it's so incredibly hard to give up on them or think about giving up on them. Or, I find it doesn't actually, there's so many people that are understanding that you can't even stay mad at them. Because being mad at them is just a representation of being mad at ourselves. And at half the time, it is actually ourselves that we're mad at. We're just projecting it out. Because they didn't do something we wanted under the conditions that we wanted it to show up that way. So 2017 is a year to really step up onto the path of your heart. It's about letting yourself really come into alignment with what it is you want, feeling unconditional love for another human being, and literally just embodying the feeling of true unconditional love. It's not as easy as you think. And it can be practiced and become much easier than you think. I have this conversation with my clients all the time. When you want to practice enhancing a gift for, say, your intuition, it's a muscle you have to build. If you're 35 years old and you get the odd spidey sense, but it almost has to be dangerous for it to show up. Something really big has to happen. Or you say, well, I can always ahead of I always know in advance when certain things, but you don't see that as a gift, or you're not accessing. What do I feel at a heart level? What does my intuition tell me about this situation? If you haven't practiced building that muscle doesn't work very good yet. It doesn't mean that it can't actually work better. It doesn't mean that it can't become amazingly powerful and strong. It just means you haven't actually worked at it yet. So you have to practice the things that you want to come show up in your life. If you're not used to practicing being vulnerable in your heart, but you want to draw somebody really close to it, guess what you got to practice? Practice being vulnerable in your heart. If you have something that you feel that you want to bring out into the world, be that. You have to be what you want the world to show up like for you. If you want kindness, be kind. If you want love, be loving. If you want peace, be peaceful. Be respectful. Catch yourself in judgment and then shift out of it. Make a better choice and decision next time. But there's a lot of information that's being brought to the forefront. There's a massive amount of people and videos and energies, and there's gateways that are coming in from all sorts of things. I've had people say to me, well, I don't know. I already heard there was a gateway on this date, so I don't think there was a gateway on that date. Oh my God, are you serious? Who has dibs on gateways? Gateways are openings for energy to move. That's what a gateway is. It's an opening for energy to move. So if you want the gateway of love to come into your experience on earth, there's a massive amount of us out there that are actually focusing on trying to, get into a better place in our hearts and our situations and our lives and our behaviors and all of that. That when you have anybody that does that, that creates a gateway. Because it created a gateway of light out into the universe. That's actually how the universe shows it to me. It's literally like you opened a curtain a little bit and it was sunny outside, so you had a dark screen, you've got your room darked out, you've got a big heavy curtain, like I have curtains here. When they come down, you can see in between the curtains, but you can't see through the curtains literally at all. My curtains upstairs, however, you can see light comes through them. But so that what a gateway is, what it is when you open your heart, oh my God, it's 52 minutes. Holy smokes, 52. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. Will that ever pass fast? So when you open a gateway, it's like the curtain got lifted enough to let a beam of light through. When you let a beam of light through, then light shows up all over the place. Everything received light and experienced a level of energetic feeling of light when light came through. If it's coming through and it's pointing exactly at that corner over there, and that's where the big bright strip is, I'm telling you this, guys, in terms of how they're showing it to me. So when you look across the room, like when I look across my room over there, because of the way this curtain is closed, I have a big thing on where the sun is beaming right on that part of the wall. So that's where it's beaming through. That's, in essence, the gateway. And actually, they're showing me that because of the things in the window. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. 6 of them are actually going like this, which potentially means we're just getting told about how simultaneously you can even open more gateways. That's like 6 times that little thing is showing up on my window between the frame shooting off one way, etc., etc. I don't want to move my camera and turn it around. My camera's not on my computer anymore. I'd have to go around. So what it is once that thing actually, even though that's the point of light, where light actually entered enough for it to be seen, it actually makes the whole room brighter. So everything experienced light in the room when I opened the curtain, but it does have a kind of a zone in place when you initially do it. And depending on what the sun is doing, it will give you light in your room. Versus there's just light everywhere now. That's what a light worker is. That's what light workers do. They bring light to the earth in the decisions and choices they make in their heart. And they accept the human journey, so you have to allow yourself to make mistakes and be forgiving. But you know, your intention for mankind, for humanity, for your spirit, for your loved ones, for your twin, your intention for them is light and love. And you know what? When you do get and you are able to go to that Zen place, and that's the kind of stuff you want to practice when you're going to Zen, when you're going to go into the other dimensions. Practice experiencing pure unity, because there's no physical body and ego separating you. The 5th and 6th dimensions don't operate on ego. The 3rd and the 4th dimensions are ego-based. The 5th dimension, you have to build it like a muscle, so you have to practice when you get there. But you'll start to realize your ego doesn't even come into your meditations or or anything that you do when you enter a story, or you go in and you do some sort of meditation or relaxation or visualization, and you're looking and you're experiencing what it feels like. If you want to talk to your twin energetically, don't go to ask them to come and say, I'm entering the 5th dimension to speak to you. Please come to the 5th dimension with me, because your ego just doesn't fit in there. And the ego is, as much as there's a part of it that's needed for us, because to be human experience, we have to have ego. It doesn't serve us more often than it does. And so you have to start making it either your friend or you're not welcome here anymore. Absolutely tell your ego that if you're not serving me and helping me move to a higher and better place, meaning you're just keeping me in fear and doubt and anger and all of that shit, that ego, hurt feelings and not being accountable for ourselves and stuff like that, their problem, their fault, they did. That's ego, okay? Ego is separation more than it is unity. The 5th dimension, there's no physical body. It's nothing but unity. It's just energetic experience. If you want to learn about that, then keep in touch with me, because I'm understanding and I'm getting a very clear message that I love being part of the Twin Flame journey. I'm glad that I've been here. I'm glad I did the videos. I'm glad I've assisted. The feedback that I've gotten and some of your stories and your testimonials and writing me, people that haven't written to me since August reached out to me today and told me something wonderful, that how things have been going towards them and what they want since they worked with me. And working with me can simply be doing an energy session for you, where I actually do energetic work here in my home. One-on-one is live coaching, just like this. We see each other, we talk on the phone camera, everything's recorded for you. You get to take that information. It'll be targeted exactly towards you, because I can't target towards you when I'm doing a video on YouTube for everybody and trusting that they'll have gained a gem out of it. some gem will have come out of it for something you've heard here today. And that's me sharing my gift and being accountable for my contribution. I get worried, ego, you have to watch out, do you think, like, because you can't let your ego become part of it, in the sense that, there's part of me that goes, why do you think you have enough important information to go tell somebody and get on a video, Diane? I have that part of me. And it's because, you know what? Then the other part of me comes forward, the spiritual part, and the part that I'm aligned with my soul, and goes forward, and Diane says, because you have a gift. You have a gift of helping people. You have a gift for talking. You have a gift for sharing. You have a gift of explaining things the way it resonates for people and it helps them. You have a gift of saying the right thing at the right time. That's actually one of my gifts, is saying the right thing at the right time to the right person. And I said to the lady yesterday, I said, the funny part of it is all those years, I said, I really didn't, first of all, I wasn't really owning it at that level or understanding it. But I said, I realize now that doesn't mean it's because I'm just working with you. Because I've only started to actually take clients in the last 6 months. I've had clients on and off over the years because of all the things I've studied. So I've always had people that I worked with to my practitioner and stuff like that. I told her, I said, it doesn't matter if I'm just sharing with somebody that I met in the mall. I'll say something and then they'll just, I've had people write me the next day. I've had people say, when I saw you in the mall that day and you said that, Diane, wow, this happened. I'm like, oh, right on. We didn't even know it was happening because we weren't actually talking. We weren't coaching and mentoring or working together. It was just simply saying the right thing at the right time to the right person. And if I'm not willing to own that gift, then in that regard, then yeah, it is like, why would you be doing videos then? There's a lot of stuff about walk your talk when you want to be part of the world, teaching world and mentoring and coaching. And I think I'm more of a mentor teacher. And the biggest thing is that I understand in many ways is when you coach, a lot of it's about people getting to their stuff. When you teach, you're teaching them tools to help them get to their stuff. And mentoring, I don't think that's ever happened. 3 cards just fell on the floor. Oh. 4. 2 of them are up. Oh my God. Okay, now this is getting ridiculous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 gateways. 5 cards on the floor. Okay, the first card, there's 3 cards fell on the floor, and the first one that's right down here, it's facing up, and it says forgiving and learning. That's what we're talking about. If you want relationships, if you want people to trust, you have to learn to be forgiving. You have to let people make mistakes. This is something that's coming up for me right now because I had my heart really hurt recently by somebody I really felt was a good friend to me. And it became in question. And then somebody else said to me, Diane, sometimes people just make mistakes. And it's true. You're human. We're human. We all do it. So anyways, then 2 more cards fell down. I wonder if I can take. They're facing down, so I won't know what they are till I go there. Then the second card, those ones fell, and then I laughed, and another one fell over there. It fell face up, and it's in front of me. It's just to my right side. It's not right in the middle. It's just off my right foot, but it's almost on the other side of my desk. Is the word honeymoon. So forgiving and learning leads to the honeymoon. Honeymoon is just the energy of pure fucking bliss and joy. God, honestly to God, if you think, how can I make my life a honeymoon? A honeymoon is the best thing that you could that's the best experience you want to go have. And then we see it as something that we're doing as a result of coming into some sort of marriage or union with somebody. And in actuality, there's so many marriages that are just ego based on the earth right now that are just really not serving themselves, anybody, their families and all of that stuff. But the honeymoon, and they talk about the honeymoon stage in a relationship, but if you understand and you look at honeymoon, the honeymoon energy of just bliss and joy, that's what's telling us. And it's telling us that forgiveness and learning, and so, what I just told you guys about listening to something twice if you like it, because you'll have missed messages. It's just the way it is. Oh my God, there's another card. I didn't even know that one was down there. There is 6 cards. So 6 gateways, I also just said to you guys earlier. I didn't know that other one fell. So forgiving was the card that's on the floor. The two cards, the second card was honeymoon. The two cards that were facing down that fell on the floor are the cards attraction and, express your love. This was something that I heard earlier too, but I mean, I could talk for 2 hours, but I'll do webinars and I'll do more of that. But this is about expressing your love, is about speaking your truth. It came in. Speak your mind with confidence. That's a form of expressing your love. Don't back down from your love for somebody because they're not in union with you. Just accept that there's nobody that can decide as to how much I love another person on the earth. Nobody gets to decide that but me. And then attraction. You attract love by enjoying this moment fully. And we just talked about the honeymoon and the energy of joy and bliss. This is such a beautiful reading. Okay, so this card is finances and career. Finances, so money, sexuality, and your health are three things that intertwine your story, 100%, all of us. And because when one's out of alignment, then typically two or all three may be out of alignment. So you can often work in one area of your life and other ones just by osmosis will change. Financial issues is a big thing on the earth right now because especially for people, this card is a lot about, first of all, coming into alignment with just trusting that money is something that's on the earth and it's only good or bad based on the energy, what you do with it and how you use it. The use of money can be negative, not the money itself has no energy. So those of us that are horrible and greedy and are doing those of us, I'm not owning that one. People on the earth that are making their decisions in the lower energetics of greed and control and manipulation and the banks and all of the horrible things that's my judgment, horrible, that's going on the earth right now that are based on money. How they're taking from and not giving back, but that's what spiritual light work is about, is to fight those efforts, and we're winning, by the way. Financial issues, so there's a big thing there about being in alignment with money, because money, sexuality, and your health actually is basically the three threads that run through your being. So you want to be in alignment with money. So if it's that part's for you, then what that's saying is, don't be afraid of going out and experiencing and expressing it. And if you have a gift that you want to learn to really step into and align with, then go to work with somebody, because that's what's going to help you. The other part of this is, I put the card down, they don't want me to miss this part. The other part is that there's people that have to leave relationships that have financial impacts that can be very, very frightening. They're frightening for people that have little kids. They're frightening for people who have middle-aged kids. They're frightening for people that have had 30 years in a marriage, because now that's like, you're not starting over at 25. When you're making that decision, you guys, when we're 55 and 60 years old and the family has acquired a bunch of stuff, now it does not serve your heart to make you're ever to stay in the relationship of a heart over money. So you're always going to have a consequence to that. But many people are frightened. They're frightened of leaving their spouses and the partnerships that they're in. The twins are frightened at the level, meaning that they feel that there's going to be a negative impact that they are then going to have to go live with, and not everyone's ready to live with it. But sometimes they need help that way. This card was the one that had been face down, so I picked up this one, the ones I didn't know I dropped. It says religious factors. Your love life is influenced by your religion, upbringing, and spiritual path. So this is part of what this is about. When you're on the story of the twin, you're on a spiritual path. We're all on some form of spiritual path, but we're stepping up to it at a little difference. And the love life is actually influenced by what our belief system is. What we've been brought up. I think I talked about that earlier, about you get a seed planted into you when you're a small child, and then you grow up wondering why you believe something so strongly. Well, your parents said it 15 times a day. I might actually edit that, and I wanted to do a video. I didn't. I'm sorry I said that. In that respect, I'm sorry I used God and damn in the same sentence. But, you know, it's like, don't be upset that you're having the experience. Just realize you have control over it, because you get to decide what's in your head now. Your parents aren't planting the seeds when you're 35 or 50 or 20 even, 60. I mean, my parents are even on the earth. They have no energetic influence over me, part of me. They don't have any contribution over in communicating with me anymore. Not on a physical level. So surrender, things are looking up, a successful time. Your wishes come true, a love life. Concerns fade away. Speak your mind with confidence. This is about being honest about and being in truth. And some people have to start to be willing. You know, I think it's the message is for everybody, but, you know, is it the right timing for everybody is different. But there's a message right now on the earth, and it's a big message, is that we have to start being able to talk to our twins about the belief in twins. Very many people are operating on the fear of bringing up the twin story with someone, because then if the person rejects them, then whoa, you know, it's all the fear of what's going to happen when that happens. Balance mental and emotional considerations. After that came the need to balance your emotions. So emotion and emotion are being said twice here also. Emotional. This card has emotional here. This one has balance your emotions, and this one says speak your mind with confidence, balance mental and emotional considerations. The reason that they're telling us this is that the emotions is what we feel. So if something's going through our system, like we're in an experience and we're thinking it, that means it's your mental mind that's operating, and then that's what you got to work on controlling, right? Then and there's your mental mind, because you're thinking it, and you'll learn this through practicing. It's another form of a muscle. Then the other thing is if you're feeling it, that means it's your emotional thing. It's going through your emotional body. And people say, how do I tell the difference? And it's like you're bawling your head off, or you're running in a massive story through your head. You know, that's an extreme example of what would be going on at that moment. But so it's saying the emotional has been brought up here 3 times. So that's saying they want us to really work on our emotional bodies. Our emotional bodies. We heal our emotional bodies, we come into alignment and be in a much higher place from it. If you're in an experience with your twin, guess what they're doing? We're all doing it energetically by the fact that we're connected, so it's being received at the level of the whole. But your twin is your twin story. So if you work on your emotional body and coming into a better place about it and lifting up out of the pain, surrender, surrender, surrender. Okay. And then we dropped all those cards. I'm going to go pick up honeymoon. Give me a second. I want you guys to actually see the card, because that's how I'm going to end this talk today. On the honeymoon card, first of all, this is December 22nd. The gateway opened yesterday, so this is all going through the gateway. 6 gateways, at least. 6 gateways, 6 things, 6 gateways. I talked about the light coming in 6 different places, 6 cards. So on 6 levels, things are energetically just even part of what we're talking about here. Enjoy the bliss of the holiday time together. We get this at what is a holiday time in the hearts of many, many, many people on earth. It's not practiced by everybody, but it's practiced by our traditions, certainly over here and in many parts of the world and in North America and stuff. And there's so many people apologizing for saying something like Merry Christmas. Excuse me, I'm never apologizing for saying Merry Christmas to anybody. Nobody on the earth can make me do that. When I say Merry Christmas to somebody, it's because I wish something well for them in their heart. I can apologize for that because it's not said in a way somebody else wants it to be heard or said, or their tradition is the right way of saying it. That's separation, by the way, at its highest. This card used to come up in the readings a lot. I haven't done any card readings on YouTube for a while. But this card, what is beautiful about this card, and this is the culmination. This is the culmination. We had the flip card, which is falling in love. Wedding proposals get said on the flip card, and then you get honeymoon on this card. This is the energy that's available to you when you go and become really aligned with what you're meant to do and who you're meant to be on the earth, because there is a person that you're meant to be. We have an agreement to get to a certain spiritual place in life. Some of us have an agreement that I have to get through this lesson, and then the twin has agreed they'll come after that. I know that if I didn't step into my gift, I wasn't going to find love, period. I knew that at the level of love that I desired it, and I believed it was out there all those years, and I always had some sort of thing in the back of my head that it's coming to me at a certain time in life. I was actually told that when I was about 20. I was told I would meet a man that would change my life completely forever, period, bar none, in my early 50s, and it would take us a certain amount of years to actually go through a lot of stuff and stuff like that. She saw union at that time. But when I remember when I was told that, I was like 20. I was like, what are you telling me? That I'm not going to meet a man that I love until I'm 50? And she said, no, I didn't say that. I said, the marriage of your heart is going to come then. He will change your life forever. You will know it the moment you lay eyes on him. And that's what happened to both of us. So enjoy the bliss of the holiday time together. But the other thing is I'm honoring this year because I am by myself and I don't have any company coming this year. I don't have kids here. Both my parents are gone. My brother's family is away. I have some family here. We're having a very small Christmas dinner. I did nothing this year in terms of decorating my house because I chose to just honor the fact that Christmas right now doesn't carry a lot of meaning for me because I actually have no one here, no kids, no partner, no parents, and I have a longing for something in my life while that's happening. And so what I'm saying in all of that is that rather than apologizing to people saying, oh, get over it, get out of your mood, put Christmas decorations up. And, I actually called myself on my Facebook page. I said, I'm taking the Grinch. They call it a Grinch, but I'm choosing not to put all that in my experience this year because it actually heightens my loneliness. And there's a lot of us on the earth that Merry Christmas doesn't feel like. There's a lot of people that aren't going to actually have that experience. But it doesn't mean you can't wish it in your heart to someone, but to recognize it. And so I didn't do anything different at all this year. It's sunny out. There's a little bit of snow, but it's like 1 plus or minus 2 or something here. So it's bright and sunny in my office today. I mean, but what it was about, Diane, don't beat yourself about not wanting to actually decorate and bring out a tree and do all of that this year. Just be at peace with it. Doesn't mean anything to you right now, but it doesn't mean you don't wish goodness for it to mean to lots of other people. So when I'm saying Merry Christmas to people, it's genuine, but it doesn't, my funk doesn't mean I don't wish you well. I just want to welcome all of you beautiful souls that have been coming forward, anyone that ends up watching this video. And if you feel that there was value in this video, for not only for twins, but for people to understand energy and energy of the heart and stuff like that, please share it. I may put this one up on my new website that's coming, that's being launched. It's being put together with so much love over the last while. It's changing my everything, and it's helping things going to move a lot more seamless for clients, and it's beautiful, and it was made from the heart between myself and one of my best friends on the earth. And so I'm excited about that, and I'm going to put my videos and webinars on there. And it'll be updated there, but I want you guys to know that I'm thanking you. Spirit is thanking you. The universe is thanking you. twin energy is thanking you. Thank you for bringing your heart to the table to just want to even know and learn something that makes you, helps you feel, helps you to make a choice where one little positive thing can come from something we do. They are so reverent to us on the earth. They understand, Spirit understands how difficult it is right now. With all of the visual and the communication and the internet, and if you think historically about them not having a form of communication that even went, the only thing you could do was either take a ship and cross the ocean. We didn't know what was going on in each other's lives, communities, countries, growing. Canada's been Canada for, I don't know, it was 500 years a little while ago. But there's stuff that's been on the earth for billions of years. So that's why when people say to me, like, why do you believe in incarnation? I go, I don't understand why anybody wouldn't. Honestly to God. If you're on a fairly deep spiritual path, I can assure you, you've had more than one kick at it. I'm an absolute undying believer of incarnation and experiencing more than one experience of life and coming to earth to learn by, and the people that mean things to us and why we have natural gifts. Like, there's no way God's only ever going to give me one chance at the entire fucking experience of being in the universe. I could choose that as a soul. God bless each one of you is what they want you to know. God bless everyone. God bless everyone. And when you say that, including me. You can say that when you pray. God bless everyone. And then you'll feel yourself get some level. You have any level of unworthy program, you'll take yourself out of everyone. And so you say, God bless everyone, including me. God bless everyone, including me. So God bless your beautiful soul. God bless you for coming to the journey. Thank you for being part of mine, for every like and comment and subscription and work and just watching the videos, writing. People ask me sometimes, why are you so optimistic? And it's because I said it's because the beautiful souls that I see in the world and the beautiful souls that I work with. I'm telling you. You guys, the stuff that you bring to the table, so many of you, your hearts, I see it so instantly. I'll just start crying if I go there. There's a major, beautiful, massive amount of beautiful hearts on the earth. So just really start paying attention to them and give yourself credit for having one, and then just working on making it just some parts about your life just a little better every day, just by making a choice that leads you towards something that makes you feel good. That's what consequence is. There's a consequence to every single choice and decision that gets made, and choice is the actual action. So there's a consequence. It might be one that you really loved and enjoyed, and it might be one that you didn't like at all. So you get a measuring stick that shows you up. If you like what your life looks like, then keep doing things that you do that make you feel good. And if you like your life isn't good, then quit doing things that you don't feel good about. And always start with your own behavior, though. Don't start outside of yourself. That's just what gets us there in the first place. I tell people when we talk about stuff in the Akashic Records, and when we're going to bring up stuff like where you made a vow to do this, or you chose greed in this lifetime and here's the consequence or whatever, it's never to make anyone feel bad or shameful, because that's the energy that actually caused it in the first place. That's actually when we make a decision that's out of alignment, or we went off and did something and, went off with our brother's, wife or something like that, something that happens, and most stuff that in the Akashic Records is still all the same shit now as it was 1,000 years ago, or just a different era that's doing it in a different way. But all the, what they kind of call the basic list of sins, we'll call it, all of those have been part of humanity forever. So what they want you to know, though, is Spirit is reverent to you. And so give yourself that beautiful, warm, loving hug And actually, they're giving everyone right now. In this card, this is Archangel Michael that's overseeing this couple. If you guys have been watching my videos, you'll remember how many times we would get this card. They're in the boat. They're crossing the calm water. This is the message I almost left without giving you, and I'm glad they got me out of my chair. This is a couple that is in a boat that's being watched over by Archangel Michael, moving them along their journey while they are basically leaning one upon each other, crossing calm waters. And the reason I say calm waters is if you look at this one, the Knight of Water, and this is one of the cards, the emotion came up. That is very turbulent, that water. So that's why I love this card, and it's the honeymoon card. That's what the honeymoon is, the bliss of just being in full unity and love. And Archangel Michael is the spirits. Archangel Michael watches over so much stuff. It's just absolutely amazing. But when I saw the hug that I just saw right now, it was a big, 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 giant set of wings, which is what made me jump out of my chair. And that's we've been given a set of beautiful big wings in the end of the reading. So we just got a loving hug from the universe. Enjoy the bliss. Find it in your heart. So beautiful, you guys. Thank you. This might officially actually be the longest talk I've ever done. For those of you honestly, genuinely, like, have a fabulous holiday season. For those that are alone or a little bit lonely, like, reach out to someone. Let somebody go hang out with somebody. Or do something nurturing, at least. Peaceful, nurturing. You know, if you're not in a place where you can go buy a lot of gifts, but gift yourself. Go to the dollar store and buy bath salts. And give yourself a nice, kind, loving, warm, hug from the water. That's what I like. That's what I feel like in the bath. I'm being hugged by warm water, hot water. So thank you, all of you. I hope there was lots of value in this talk today. I think those of you that have been watching my videos can see the change in me. And so I hear that all the time as I'm out. This lady stopped me in the grocery store recently, and she says, Diane, I watched all your videos when you did your 30-day challenge on Facebook, which is when I was given the challenge by my business coach to do that, and I did it right directly on my Facebook page. It was 30 videos in 30 days, and they were just personal videos on my Facebook page. But I see myself in some of those days, and I mean, I can still, get up and have the morning hair and all of that stuff, but the confidence and the energy that comes out of me now, and the confidence I have when I'm speaking and stuff like that. She said to me, I watched you change from the beginning to the end of the 30 days. That I inspired her to go and do a video for herself and her business. Because she said, and she said, but I'm telling you, she saw me in the grocery store. She said, wow, I don't know what you're doing, but just absolutely keep doing it. And when she told me, she said, I watched you grow in your videos, and it inspired her. Like, that's just a success story to me, That's just God giving back, having somebody walk up and tell us that and thanking us for impacting their life in a positive way. And how you can be naturally kind is start to just genuinely compliment people for anything they did that was nice. Anything that they did, just genuinely compliment them that. Because people will be, oh, no, that's nothing, and no, I just want to thank you. And if you see something about somebody, just make sure that it's genuine. If you love the earrings, don't comment on the dress that you're not so fond of. Find something in that soul, look at them, smile at them, give them something kind to think, a moment of happiness, cross their experience because you smiled at them. That's been one of my gifts, is my smile, and why I have a joke with amongst my friends and the people that know me that these dimples have got me a lot of mileage, because when I light up, I really light up, and when I'm in love, I light up. And there's a difference between being in union and being in love. Might not be in union, it does not mean that you can't be in love. God bless you guys. Thank you for staying for this long if you did. I'd really like to know if anyone did, actually. I don't know. Do people watch 1 hour and 28-minute videos? So God bless. Enjoy the holidays. Reach out if you need some support from people, your family, movie theaters if you're in a city, something. Do something to, if you can, that at least gives you some level of experience that you're making it a special day in some way, even though it's not maybe the way that the level that you'd like to see it at. So Diane Lang, Wisdom of the Akashics, and namaste.